Hey, everybody. Welcome to Fiery Embers on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network. This is a show about nothing. So you could consider this the Seinfeld of running podcasts, where I chat with my guests about everything and anything and nothing all at the same time. We will dabble in some running or some swimming or some cycling. But really, it's not about paces. It's not about mileage. It's not about the metrics that we often discuss. It's about getting to know the person behind all of those miles and metrics and everything we love. Today, I'm going to be joined by Karen Hansen, who we just featured on our How It All Started story on runtrymag.com. That was written by Dylan Roche, so make sure you go check it out. So before I bring Karen onto the show, please do me a favor. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network. We're on your favorite podcast platform. If you're using Spotify, leave us a comment. I'm asking you for 5 stars, but if you feel inclined to give us anything less than that, before you do, send me an email, jason@runtrymag.com. I'd love to know how we can improve to make this show better for you and so that we can earn your 5-star rating. So without further ado, let's bring Karen on the show and let's have some fun. Hi, my friend. How are you?
Hey, Jason. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great on this lovely Tuesday.
I am laughing about that because in the green room, Karen said to me, "Happy Monday," and I got totally thrown off by the days of the week already.
Today was my first run of the week, which usually happens on Mondays. I think that's what threw me off.
Gotcha. Correct me if I'm wrong. You are a book editor. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I wear a couple hats. My day job, I'm mostly a writer in the civil rights nonprofit space. And then my sort of free time passion work is editing fiction.
Oh, interesting. So I stumbled over my words in the introduction, and as a person who writes and a person who edits, words matter to you. And so I want your take on this because I have a pet peeve and I won't taint the jury pool. When
Okay.
you hear somebody say, find our podcast wherever you get your podcasts versus find our podcast on your favorite podcast platform, which one has a better ring to it?
I think whichever one sounds more natural for the speaker.
Okay.
Like whichever one is in your voice. So that's a big part of fiction editing is it's got to sound like the author. And so if I edit it and it doesn't sound like them anymore, I've done a bad job. So I am not a prescriptivist in that sense. And I will say, do what feels right to you. And if people criticize, they can say it however, whatever phrasing makes sense for them.
I don't disagree with you on the idea of whatever people are going to criticize you no matter what you do. So do the thing that makes you happiest. For
Do
me,
you have a strong opinion on that?
I do. I have a very strong opinion on this because when somebody says wherever you get your podcasts, it sounds like now I have to go do work to go find wherever I get my podcast, as opposed to the person who says on your favorite podcast platform, because now like favorite brings happiness and joy. And I know exactly where I'm going to go. And I want to go hang out with you because you told me to go to my favorite podcast platform.
Counterpoint. Wherever you get your podcast implies that you can use more than one.
That is true.
I don't know if anyone does that. I'm trying to think now. Do
I
use more than one podcast platform? Yeah, I probably do, actually. There are different ones I get in different places.
Yeah, I do, but mostly because of the business, right? Like, I want to hear what it sounds like on Apple. I want to hear what it sounds like on Spotify. And then when I'm on Spotify, you get the recommendations. When you're on Apple, you get the recommendations. So, for example, on Spotify, I listen to Borderlands, which is run by Josh Rosenthal, who I just absolutely love his business mindset. I love what he does with Borderlands and the Wilder app, and kind of follow his lead a little bit. He's one of those people who is blazing paths in the world of media and endurance sports. And then
I've added that to my list, and I will listen to it on my favorite podcast platform.
Perfect. Simultaneously, I listen to South Beach sessions. So if you're into like stories and great journalism, Dan Le Batard is the host of South Beach sessions. And the way he asks questions, I try to emulate what he does and
Yeah.
creates conversation with his guests. So he's talking to professional athletes, movie
Yes.
actors, actresses, uber famous people, right? But he makes them human. He doesn't allow them to wander off into the world of fame and fortune. He keeps them grounded, which I
Yeah.
think is fantastic.
Interviewing is such a skill. Like I have worked in journalism before, and that was always something I like felt like was not my strength. Like it's a challenge.
Yeah, it is. It's funny because, I think I have recorded over 300 podcast episodes at this point and done 400 stories on our website. And people are often asking me, can you send me a set of questions that you want to cover? And I'm like, I don't know the answer to any single question you're going to ask me. So I don't want to do that. Right. Like
Yeah.
I'd rather follow up your answer with a question based on your answer than to be like, that's a fantastically in-depth answer. I'm moving on to this next topic that has nothing to do with what you just said.
Yeah. It's got to be a conversation and not just like bullet points.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So again, this is a show about nothing when it comes to endurance sports, and we just covered a whole bunch of nothing when it comes to the world of endurance sports with podcasting and interviewing. But I want to ask you this question because you are a runner, and I've asked this of people in the past who are runners and tying it into just something completely insane. Do you think that you could outrun a horned frog?
Those things have to be pretty little, right?
Yeah, they're tiny. They're really tiny.
But they're probably, and I don't know this offhand, but they're probably one of those animals that can jump like many times their own like body length in one leap. I'm just guessing. I don't know. I'm no zoologist. But I'm going to go ahead and say yes, and here's why. From my non-expert perspective, I think I can be more strategic than this little froggy. And I don't know, it's probably gonna like bounce around. Like it's a prey animal, probably. So it's probably gonna like try and be evasive. And I think I could be strategic uh in this race and get to the destination or the finish line faster.
I think one of my favorite things about this show is the in-depth in which people go to answer these questions that are completely insane. So, a horned frog can run, shall we quotes, as fast as 5 miles an hour. So
Okay.
if you can run an 11:59 mile, you will beat the horned frog in a 1 mile race.
I've got it. Maybe not today. I am not cleared by my PT to run a full mile at once yet. But yeah, I
Soon
think in
enough.
general I could do it.
Soon enough, you'll be there, and we'll
Yes,
be at the finish line with a medal for you, and not allow the horned frog to capture the finish line tape beforehand.
I'll take it.
So let me ask you, speaking of finish lines and tapes, if you could pick a place, money is no object. We fly you there, we put you up in accommodations, we take care of your meals, we take care of everything for you. Where is a place you would love to cross the finish line and why? And it doesn't have to
Oh,
be a specific race today. You can make up
yeah.
your own race.
That's a wild question. This is a hard one because I'm such a homebody when it comes to races. Like I love DC races
Okay.
where the logistics are easy and I don't have to travel. Um, but I also love running in just like wild places. Like I think it's such a fun way to see places.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go ahead and pick Antarctica
Ooh.
because I know it's something people do. Um, and I know the logistics are crazy, but if it's being handled and I get to run anywhere, especially if costs are covered, I that's just like that would be a story of a lifetime to say like you ran in
I think
Antarctica.
Antarctica is the place where there's never any darkness, right? I
Yeah,
believe.
presumably. I mean, like North Pole, South Pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Could you manage
light all
like
the
how
time.
do you handle that? Like I would have so much trouble with that. Like constant daylight. I would be so we were confused as to what day it was. That's
Yes. Yeah, you'd need blackout curtains for sure. Although I don't know if you would stay that long. I
yeah,
feel
that's
like you'd
true.
just fly in and run and fly out. And I think the key would be keep it easy enough you don't get sweaty, because then you'll get cold.
Yes.
So I think that would be a challenge.
So let me ask, so what's the distance you want to run in Antarctica then? If you want to get in and out. So I'm presuming it's not a 200-mile race, which is going to take days.
Yeah, no, that would be more like that would be the trek. Self-supported 200 miles in Antarctica, like with a sled behind you and all your supplies. Maybe not. But I if I were in shape for it, I'd be like, let's just do a 26.2.
There you go.
Like knock off a continent for a marathon.
I just interviewed Elizabeth Osers for a show, and they told me that they actually did a race where you pull a sled. They live in Wisconsin, I believe, and
Nice. I love
right,
Wisconsin.
like I just love like the banana shit that people will
Yep.
do. I think
Yep.
it's fascinating, and it removes like this idea of gatekeeping, right? Where you're only a runner if you run marathons, or you're only a triathlete if you do an Ironman. Like I have zero desire to run in the snow in Wisconsin pulling a sled, but that sounds like a blast to cheer and pace or crew for, not necessarily pace, and yell for people as they finish. Like that would be a blast
Yeah.
to me.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun to me. I love winter running. Like cold running, I will take it any day. I'm a January baby and I'm a Scotty myself. I've never heard of the sled thing, but like add a little strength to your cardio. Sure,
Yeah,
I'll give it a go.
I'll have to look it up. I'll ask them what event it was. I'll send it to you. If you ever head
Yeah.
back towards Wisconsin, you could look it up and get in it. I am anti-cold. Like I am Puerto Rican, so Caribbean, and prefer the heat. Even
Yep.
though I grew up a born and raised New Yorker and had to deal with the winters in the Northeast anyway. But give me that heat. So when you run in the cold weather, what are you warming up with after you're done running? Are you going like to soup, coffee, tea? Um, what are you drinking? Well, how are you warming up after that cold run?
Coffee with a little shot of something in it is usually the way to go. Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
Irish
Gotta spike
coffee,
it a little bit. Warm yourself from the inside.
Irish coffee, some Jameson in there,
Yes.
whipped cream on top.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then the key is a shower that is so hot it feels cold.
Yes.
Yep.
I,
Yep.
let me ask you a question. Are you the kind of person that immediately jumps in the shower after their run, or do you need to like cool down, cool off before you get in the shower?
You know, I used to be like in the door in the shower kind of person. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten a lot more relaxed about that. Now in the summertime when it's hot, like I gotta let the sweat dry a little
Yes.
bit.
Yes.
Otherwise it's just like slimy and it's like,
Yes.
whoa. So yeah,
Preach.
I definitely like sit down. I have like an old beach towel that I put down on my chair so I don't get it all
Yes.
sweaty, and have that second cup of coffee or that protein shake or whatever. And like, yeah, give me 20 minutes and then I'm ready for that shower.
I find if I jump in the shower immediately after running, I'm just perpetually sweating all throughout the rest of the day. Like I didn't
Yep.
allow my body to cool off. And it doesn't matter. It can be a cold shower. And I still feel like I'm just constantly sweating the
Yes.
rest of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, yeah, you got to take that little break. And then like for the ladies, it like allows your sports bra to dry off a little bit. Cause
Okay.
let me tell you, like peeling that off at the end of the run is like the hardest thing in the world, except for when you're on a run and you have to stop in the porta potty and you have to pull down and then back up your sweaty shorts. That's worse. But yeah, dealing with the sweaty clothing, it got to take a second.
I tell you, like men, you have no idea how easy we have it. Like seriously, we have it so easy. Like we complain about all kinds of shit for no reason because we have it so easy. The world is designed for men. It really
Yep.
is. And
Yep.
we don't have to deal with taking sports bras on and off after a hard run. Like I mean,
Uh,
men are running shirtless, right? Like it's amazing the complaints from the men. So men, stop complaining. We got it easy. Good grief,
yes. Meanwhile, we're over here working on like shoulder mobility.
dexterity.
Yeah. More than one time I have gotten stuck and had to like ask my boyfriend for help.
I believe it. We have a cat on the show. What's the name of the cat?
Yep. So this is Pangerbon.
Hi, Panger.
And he's got thumbs.
Oh, look at that. He
So
looks like he's wearing mittens.
He's got little mittens.
Oh, that's so
and he
cool.
loves video calls. So whenever I'm like on a call for work or anything, he's like, "Oh, let me hop in that lap."
I love it. You earlier in the conversation, actually in the green room, you mentioned that you're out in DC, and I thought about the Mall of Washington, and I have the current Run Try Bike community record, probably because I'm also the only one who has done this. But I've run around a 1 mile loop listening to the same song, which happened to be Dance Monkey, for 4 hours. Now, Adria, Trail Runner 615, is going to be doing the Hot Rod 24 hour. And she said she's going to try to break that record listening to I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston. She's going to be on a baseball concourse trying to run for 4 hours and 1 minute next month in September. So the challenge to you, if you had to run around the mall in Washington, so you're just going to be seeing Lincoln and Washington Monument back one after the other constantly, what song could you listen to, only that song, for 4 hours and 1 minute and take the record in the Run Try Bike community?
Oh my gosh. I recently did like one of my like posts online that got like the most views, and I was listening like course types from best to worst, and my worst was like a small loop over and over again. So this is my nightmare course. I will say, like, that loop, that's a good mile loop there from Lincoln to Washington.
Yeah.
And it's a nice path. What would I listen to?
You got to crush it for 4 hours and 1 minute.
My, like, in case of emergency, I don't listen to music on the run. I'm a marching band kid, and so it like screws up my head. But my in case of emergency song is Kate Bush, Running Up That Hill.
Oh, yes.
And I one time was in like a couple years ago was in a half marathon, and there's this huge freaking hill, and I was in it. This was like my 4th race in 6 weeks or something, and I was like, why did I do this to myself? And I had my headphones in just in case of emergency, and I swear I did not have my phone out. I did not press play on anything, and my playlist just started at that moment, and I was like, oh my god, I would not have gotten through that without this. So yeah, I would probably say that song, because it's like my in case of emergency, just keep going kind of song. Now that might change and after like 3 or 4 hours, but I think it would get me through.
Well, once we get you through your PT and you're capable of getting out there, the track is open for you. Feel free to see if you could set the record. If you have on your training plan a 4 hour run, see if you can make it 4 hours and 1 or 2 minutes and try to break the record.
I mean, I may. I'm theoretically on the dock for Marine Corps in October.
There you go.
So assuming I'm good to go, we're going to have a couple long runs, and usually hit them all at some point. So we'll see.
I mean, look, you could set up 8 stations, one towards the Lincoln and one towards the Washington.
Yeah.
Pick up bottles of water all along the way, and you'll be set square.
This is true. And there'd be an audience. There's always people there.
Yes.
Whenever I go run on the mall, I like feel like I'm part of some weird like underground race, because there's always so many runners. Yeah, I'd be well supported.
That would be fantastic. Okay, so yesterday during that same show, Joe and I put together an endurance concert tour. So we picked a location that we could listen to a great concert and then run a race afterwards. And so to give you an example, I chose Wembley Stadium because I envisioned Freddie Mercury of Queen singing in front of the entire stadium, and that got me fired up. And there's also a race called the Spine in the UK, which is an ultra trail run, which is superbly hard. And so I was like, that's one of the places I want to go. So I'm going to put it in your lap now. A location that you could get in a great concert as well as a great endurance sports event. And that could be a swim, that could be a bike ride, that could be a triathlon, it could be a run. And it doesn't have to be this grand venue. Joe picked a place in Evanston, Illinois that I don't even remember the name. It was such a tiny place. He said it held 150 people, but it was a great place for a concert. So your turn.
What came to mind immediately in a place I've never run but would love to, Red Rocks.
Yes.
Like, talk about awesome nature-y concert venue. And my geography is like super poor, but there's gotta be some great
it's
running
in
around there. Yeah, I figured. Where else are there like lots of Red Rocks and presumably many trails, which I'll admit I'm not like much of a trail gal. My hand-eye coordination is like not that great. But I do love hiking. So I could see doing like a whole day long, super intense hike and then just like chilling at Red Rocks with some beer. You probably need some like almost some like bluegrassy or folk type of music in that venue, I'm thinking, just spitballing. But yeah, that sounds like an ideal like run hike vacation.
I love that you picked Red Rocks and I love that you picked bluegrass bluesy, and I'll tell you why. So Joe and I left Red Rocks off the list purposefully because we wanted to dig a little bit deeper with each other. But Will Eady, who goes by Runs to the Left on Instagram and Threads, was on the show with us. He was on Instagram and he was commenting and he picked the Red Rocks. And then what we also chose was you have to pick musicians to go see at these venues. And so Joe picked Billy Strings, which goes right into your bluegrass concept, as well as OAR. And I picked Maroon 5 and Lenny Kravitz.
Nice.
As people to go see, musicians to go see, artists to go see. And so now that we're at the Red Rocks and we're going to go do some dirt trail hike run with you, Karen, who are we listening to while we're at the Red Rocks? And Billy Strings is taken. He's booked now on Joe's concert tour.
That's an easy answer too. It's got to be North Mississippi All-Stars. I saw them here once in DC, and this is going to sound bad, but it's the only show I've ever left while it was still going. And the only reason is it was like a Monday or a Tuesday night show, and they were going for like, I was there like 3 hours and they were still jamming. And I was like, this is amazing. And it's past my bedtime and I have to work tomorrow. So I think just like their energy, their like nonstop energy would be like, it pairs perfectly with an endurance event.
That is fantastic. I love it. We have had so many great conversations on this show when it comes to places to go run, people to run with, and all of those great things. So I'm going to ask you that next question, which is, living or dead, who would you want to run with and what distance would you want to run with them? Because it matters. So in other words, if you're running a 5K and if you're running a 12-minute mile in a 5K, you've only got about 40 minutes to chat. So you have to pick wisely. Who do you want to run with and how long and why?
This is a question that like comes up a lot and I am so bad at answering it. There's just that possibilities. Like it's too much. It's a too much choice, right? If we're going with like not famous people, I would have to pick my older brother and sister.
Oh, that's awesome.
My brother at one point was a cross country runner in high school. He has since switched over to being primarily a cyclist. We have run together once and it was great. And he was smoking me and I was like, how is this possible? You're not even a runner. And my sister is like a sometimes runner. Again, she smokes me every time with like basically no training. But you know, we're all adults and we live in very different places. And so we don't get to see each other all that often. And I would love, assuming they were both up for it, to do like a nice leisurely 10-mile together, all of us. Like, I think that would just be like so much fun. And we've never had that kind of experience as adults together.
That's cool. Cause you know, most people are answering that with famous people, right? They're going to pick famous people alive or dead and talk about that. But that's pretty damn awesome that you picked family. And it says a lot about who you are as a person. that you want to run with family and spend what amounts to uninterrupted time with them, right?
Yeah.
So, and 10 miles at a 12-minute pace gives you 2 hours.
Yep.
So that's fantastic.
I would not have enough to like, I would, if it was a celebrity, I would just, I don't know them. Like, I don't know, even if
Yeah,
it's, there's like a parasocial relationship somehow, like
right.
it just feels a little invasive. But honestly, and the family thing, like that could theoretically happen. In
True.
fact, we would probably go to Red Rocks. Probably where we do it.
Hey, North
Um,
Mississippi All Stars, if you're listening to
yeah,
this,
my
book a
brother
show.
introduced me to them. So yeah, like this now this needs to happen.
We've got it. We've got at least 3 in attendance. So let's get this
Yes.
going, North Mississippi All Stars.
I love it.
Yeah, I would have picked Obama to run with, and I would
Mm,
have picked the Chicago Marathon course
nice.
because I would love for him to just point out different places
Yeah.
that he had experienced and just listen to his stories
Yeah.
about just, oh, I remember this one day here at this corner where I met X, Y, and Z person. Um, and then the questions I would ask while I was running with him wouldn't be specific. They would be more generic in terms like, you're facing a decision. Like, how do you decide what's the best path? And again, this isn't what am I going to eat for lunch today that Jason Bahamundi is deciding, right? We're talking about world decisions. Um, because I think that we can learn a lot from people on their decision making process, not necessarily what the actual decision was, because we're different people than them, and so we might go in a different route. And so again, you don't want to taint the jury pool in that way, but their decision making process, I think, would help tremendously to hear.
Yeah. Talk about like a great like way to see a city too. Like
Yeah,
with somebody who's like so intimately like aware and in on everything. Like I would totally sign up for a Chicago tour, maybe not 26.2 just for like a casual visit, but you know, with somebody that like really knows it really well and is like a figure there. And on decision making skills, I am totally with you. Like whenever I'm like doing a job interview for somewhere, that's one of my questions is like how do you decide how you're deciding
oh,
things?
that's a great
And
question
if
in an
people
interview.
don't know that, or like they have to come up with a decision making process for every new decision they're making,
Yeah,
like that says something to you about like their strategic skills and their leadership skills for sure.
absolutely. So we only have a couple of minutes left of our show, and I don't like to use the term foodie because I always believe when you're a foodie, you also know like all of the measurements and ingredients and all that stuff. I just love to eat. So that's my definition of a foodie. Karen's nodding in agreement for
Love
those of
it.
you listening.
That makes me a foodie too. I'm not like much of a cook, but I sure will eat.
So we also have the show Food Fight Friday where we ask people to eat, toss, or carry a particular item. And you're in Washington, D.C. You have a shirt based on a Cherry Blossom 10K. So I know nothing about the cuisine in Washington, but I know the fruit cherries. So I'm going to give you 3 cherry based foods, and you're going to decide whether to eat, toss, or carry them. So
That's hard. Eat them all. I love cherries.
the first is a cherry Coke slushy that we could get at the 7-Eleven Slurpee machine,
Nice.
potentially. The second is the cherry Pop Tart. And then the
Ooh.
third is a cherry pie.
Ooh. Okay. And the scenario here is like we're at an aid station in the middle
We're
of a race.
we're at an aid station. We're in the middle of a race,
Yep.
and you have to choose whether to carry one of these items, which item is going to get tossed,
Mhm.
and then which item are you going to consume.
Okay. Okay. This is actually an easy one. Toss the pie. I love it, but like way too messy.
Yes.
There's just like juice going on, and I hate being sticky on the run. Like drive it to the finish line and save it for me there, maybe. Um, Eat the Pop Tart, like fast fuel, get
There
it
you
in
go.
me right now. I need some sugar. And then take that slushy because, like, I'm gonna hold it and it's gonna keep my hand cool, presuming it's like hot enough out that a slushy sounds good. It'll melt a little bit, and I'll just have like that cold liquid, sugary cherry Coke goodness like with me for the next few miles.
So when we play the game, Adam and I are always talking about how we might need to use something as a weapon or as a distraction as the
Ooh,
carry piece, right? And so my
throw that
first thought,
pie.
yeah, you could throw the pie, absolutely. So carry with you, throw it and then I thought, well, what if it's a trail run? You could leave it out for the bear, and then this way
Mhm.
you don't have any issues there. But that being said, I'm with you. Like if I'm carrying a cherry pie, inevitably I'm going to drop it by accident or I'm going to spill it on myself. And
Yep, yep,
I am anti-sticky too. Like there are napkins all over our apartment. There are napkins in our car everywhere. Like anytime anything touches my hands, I'm like
yep,
immediately wiping them down. So I'm
yep,
leaving the cherry pie as well. I'm absolutely inhaling the Pop Tart and I'm looking
yep,
around to see if I could take all the rest of the boxes too, so that I can keep eating them. And then I'm taking the Slurpee slushy with me because you're going to have to hydrate and get some sugar
mhm.
in you. So it's the kiddo version of a Gatorade electrolyte drink for us on the course.
Yeah, perfect, perfect.
Karen, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for sharing your story with
Yeah,
Dylan so that we could put it on our website and share it with our audience. It was a great story, and I really appreciate you.
it's fun to talk about running. I could do it all day. I wish I could do it more than I get to.
Have a great one. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jason. Have a good one.
For those of you that have stuck around for this episode of Fiery Embers featuring Karen Hansen, thank you so much. Time is the greatest gift that I believe we can give to each other, and you have given me your time, and that is a great gift. Make sure you check out all of our other Fiery Embers shows on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network on your favorite podcast platform, and be sure to subscribe, rate, and review our network there as well. We really appreciate it. It does help with our algorithm rankings and getting more great guests on. So appreciate your time. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time on our Fiery